Good morning, everyone. I'm very happy to be here with you all in person. Last year, we presented the Electronic Submission Gateway, so I'm excited to share the next generation of the Electronic Submission Gateway. Just out of curiosity, how many of you are familiar with the Electronic Submission Gateway, the ESG? Okay, great. So today I plan on covering what is ESG NextGen, the ESG NextGen background and vision, the industry engagement and collaboration. We're going to provide a little sneak peek demo for you all of ESG NextGen, and then we'll cover the key takeaways and have a Q&A session. So what is ESG NextGen? So ESG NextGen is the replacement of the current ESG, which we now are referring to as legacy ESG. So the Electronic Submission Gateway is the solution for accepting electronic submissions, and it enables the secure submission of pre-market and post-market regulatory information for review. The FDA ESG NextGen will be the central transmission point for sending information electronically to the FDA. So how will the ESG NextGen submission process work? So if you're familiar with legacy ESG, most of you are probably submitting through WebTrader. We probably have a few AS2 submission users, but if you are a WebTrader submission user, you will now submit through a modernized unified submission portal. I think you heard during the last session that the current legacy ESG has some challenges with the ease of submissions, so I think you'll find that the ESG Next Generation is a lot more user-friendly. So after the one-time registration, a user authenticates using multi-factor authentication. This is an enterprise solution for multi-factor authentication. So eventually, if you are using other FDA-wide products, you may be able to just have a one-time login in the future. So then you would upload your submission package through the unified submission portal, which is, again, the replacement of WebTrader, and that submits to the FDA. The ESG NextGen receives the submission and it assigns a unique ID. The FDA ESG NextGen then sends receipt to the submitter upon successful submission. If for some reason your submission was not successful, you would receive a notification of that. The submission is then automatically transferred to the center's inbox that you're submitting through, which is decided based on the submission type selection and the center submission. A center acknowledgement is then automatically generated and sent to the submitter via the FDA ESG Next Generation. The center then validates and processes the submission by accessing their center inbox, and then submission history and status is available in the USP. So it's a really nice feature that within the Unified Submission Portal, you're able to view the status of historical submissions. So for the submission, for FDA submissions and our international partner submissions, Health Canada, CBER, CDER, CIFSAN, CDRH, CTP, CVM, Health Canada, Office of the Commissioner, and ORA all receive submissions through the Electronic Submission Gateway. So the background and vision for the ESG NextGen. So the FDA works with PDUFA and BSUFA to make industry commitments. And as part of that, the FDA is committed to modernizing the architecture, the data submission bandwidth, as well as implementing identity and access management solutions. So that is where the idea came from for the ESG NextGen. So for the vision, protecting proprietary data is very important to the FDA. So as part of that, we are implementing multi-factor authentication and zero trust. Cybersecurity is imperative to the FDA and protecting your data. So the multi-factor authentication and zero trust is really important. Usability from As you heard, there's some challenges with legacy ESG for usability. So the modernized user interface will be very user-friendly, make the submission process very smooth for industry partners. We're also going to increase the the file submission size up to 1 terabyte in release 1. Release 2 will be able to receive submissions larger than 1 terabyte. And then we'll also provide an improved user tracking status, so that way you can log into the unified submission portal and view your submission tracking status. Additionally, scalability and availability is very important. During COVID, we received a large influx of submissions that we didn't usually receive. So it was a process to be able to scale up. With the unified submission portal being cloud-based, we can easily scale up to handle any kind of public health emergency and further protect the public health. So improving user experience. So as you heard before, there's obviously some challenges. The legacy ESG is over 15 years old, and while it has served us well, obviously technology has significantly changed over the last 15 years. So our goal is to improve the user experience. So we've taken the feedback from both industry as well as the centers into consideration as we've worked to modernize. Our future state is going to improve the user account management. So it's going to make it a lot easier to create your user account. The workflow will be a lot more user-friendly as well. We'll have the identity and access management solution. For package preparation, you'll be able to submit your package through an easy step-by-step process through the unified submission portal. We're also going to maintain the current AS2 submission process, and then we'll also provide the ability to submit through API as well. For file submission, we are replacing the digital signature with e-signature. Again, we're increasing the file size capabilities up to 1 terabyte as part of release 1, and then release 2 we'll be able to have larger file submissions over 1 terabyte. And then for communication, our MVP release 1 and 2 will have one-way communication, but our future state, our goal is to eventually provide intelligent chatbot as well as two-way communication. All right, so that brings us to our first challenge question. In what way is ESG NextGen improving customer experience? User interface. B, improved usability. C, provide submission status transparency. D, all of the above. Give you 1 second to think about that. And if you selected D, all of the above, you are correct. So we will be improving customer experience by modernizing the user interface, improving the usability, and then we'll provide submission status transparency so you can view the historical submission status. Seems we are having a little bit of technical challenges. All right, so even though I don't have the slides, I can still go over. So we are going to increase the ability, the submission methods. So we are going to have, like we've had in legacy, the ability to submit through, instead of WebTrader, we'll have the user interface. And then we will have the AS2 submission capability, but we are also going to have modernized API submissions as well. So that's an option for companies to be able to submit via the API. So those are the 3 submission types that we will be offering in ESG NextGen. So I have a slide with our roadmap, but I can cover that. Currently we are in Q3 of FY24, and we are gearing up for our user acceptance testing. Our user acceptance testing will take place between Q3 and Q4 of FY24. And then our planned implementation date for release 1 is between FY24 Q4 and FY25 Q1. And then we are planning release 2, which will include the large file submissions, which will take place in 2025. Yeah, next one. So this, yep. All right. So that was our roadmap that I covered. So challenge question. How many different submission methods are available in ESG NextGen? A, 5, B, 3, C, 2, D, 4. I'll give you a second to think about that. All right, and if you selected 3, you are correct. You'll have the capability of submitting through the Unified Submission Portal. You'll have the AS2 submission capability as well as API submission capability. So our release high-level timeline, so this is for release 1. We are in FY24 Q3, so we are preparing for our user acceptance testing right now. We will kick off our user acceptance testing towards the end of FY24 Q3. That will span into FY24 Q4. And then our plan go live is between FY24 Q4 and FY25 Q1. So we are at another challenge question. When is the plan go live date for ESG NextGen? A, 2026, B, FY25 Q3, C, FY24 Q4 to FY25 Q1, or D, none of the above. I'll give you a second to think about that. All right, if you selected C, you are correct. Our planned go live is between FY24 Q4 and FY25 Q1. So our ESG NextGen industry testing phases. So as I mentioned, we are planning to move into our UAT testing. So we will have 2 waves of our UAT testing. The first wave will include the Unified Submission Portal. This will include new registration and management, and then we will also have testing of the API submission capability. In wave 2, we'll test submissions via AS2. We'll test migrating the ESG user accounts, and then we will have additional testing for wave 1 improvements that we made based on any feedback we received during wave 1 testing. So both centers and industry will engage in testing at the same time. It is a coordinated effort. We've had several industry demos over the last 8 or 9 months. During those industry demos, we did ask for industry testing volunteers. We have over 175 volunteers that will be participating in our UAT testing, as well as our centers. Industry engagement and collaboration. So as I mentioned, we've done a lot of collaboration with industry as well as within the FDA with the centers. As part of that, we took into consideration feedback from industry as well as the center. So our goal was to minimize the impact to centers and industry as much as possible. So for current WebTrader users, you will use our Unified Submission Portal when we modernize to ESG NextGen. So what will change for you? You'll have a modernized UI, so it should improve your user experience significantly. It'll make submissions much easier. You'll be able to upload files, manage users, and then access submission history. So to minimize any risk, as well as to make the process as seamless as possible, we are going to migrate current user accounts from ESG to ESG NextGen. We are going to perform, obviously, user acceptance testing. We'll have detailed training sessions. Any current registered ESG user will be starting a campaign in the next couple of months. We'll be sending out weekly notifications to say, hey, we're modernizing. This is how it's going to impact you. This is when we're going live. And then we'll have detailed user guides available as well. So we really want to make this as seamless as possible for industry, provide as much support as possible, and make it as easy for you to transition. For our current AS2 users, there will be minimal changes. The DNS and certificates will remain the same. The callback password will need to be resubmitted to the FDA, and the IP address will change to point to ESG NextGen. So we will perform user acceptance testing for AS2 users. We will migrate current AS2 accounts, and then again, we'll provide training sessions and user guides as well for our AS2 users. For API users, so when we go live, we will not have any, we'll not be migrating any AS2 users to API, but after we go live, anyone that does want to migrate to use API will work with you to do that. We will be testing this functionality though during our UAT testing. And then our customer support, so ESG, as most of you know, has help desk support available. That same help desk support will be available for NextGen, so that will not change for you. So we are at challenge question number 5. How many UAT waves are there? A, 3, B, none, C, 2, D, 1. I'll give you a second to think about that. The answer is 2. So if you guessed 2, you got it right. We'll have 2 waves of UAT testing. The first one will be for our unified submission portal as well as API. Wave 2 will include AS2 users. So our ESG NextGen rollout plan. So like I mentioned, we'll have a campaign where we start sending out weekly emails to our current registered ESG users to notify them of what's coming. About 2 months before the rollout, we'll provide the specific rollout date and let you know how that will impact you, what the downtime will be. And then we'll explain what will take place during the rollout. Everyone will move to ESG NextGen. We will be retiring legacy ESG when we migrate to ESG NextGen. We will maintain legacy ESG in the event we got into production and had any major issues, which obviously we don't foresee given the extensive testing that we'll do prior to that. But if we did have an issue, we'd always have the ability to cut back over to legacy ESG. And then once we get into ESG NextGen, of course, we'll have the user guides and support available. So FDA engagement. So we have a number of ways that we've been engaging with industry and centers to make them aware of what's to come. So if you are currently have our ESG FDA webpage bookmarked, you can access information about ESG NextGen by clicking on the ESG NextGen what's new for ESG NextGen on the electronic submission gateway page. We also have an FDA ESG NextGen website that provides information for you on what's coming, and we update that regularly with information. We provide we have industry demos on there for you to view. It has our roadmap, so lots of useful information. If you have questions, you can also reach us at esgngsupport@fda.hhs.gov. We have a team of people that monitor that email inbox regularly. So if you send us a question, we will be happy to respond to you. So I mentioned that, we've been working with FDA centers, as well as industry, as well as our international partners, Health Canada. So just to give you a little bit of information, statistics on our engagements, we've had 37 engagements with the centers over the past 8 months to discuss ESG NextGen and get their feedback. During the engagements, we've had over 520 participants, and we have responded to over 150 questions. For industry engagements, we've had 12 different engagements with industry to provide them demos, get their feedback, and engage with industry. And during those industry engagements, we've had over 2,000 participants with over 500 questions. We've received over 175 industry UAT volunteers. When we do send out communication to centers, there's over 100 recipients between the FDA centers. And then when we send out communication to industry, our list of recipients is over 12,000. So we are definitely engaging with industry and the centers. This is a collaborative effort. We greatly appreciate all of the feedback from all of our industry partners. It's been very educating for us, and it's imperative to the success of ESG NextGen. So we look forward to the continued partnership with industry. So we are at our next challenge question. Will ESG NextGen replace the current ESG? A, yes, legacy ESG will retire when ESG NextGen goes live. B, no, only certain submission types will use ESG NextGen. C, it will be industry's choice to use ESG NextGen. D, using ESG NextGen will depend on the center receiving the submission. I'll give you a second to think about that. If you selected A, yes, ESG will be retired when ESG NextGen goes live. You're correct. So we are going to be retiring legacy ESG, and everyone will be migrated to ESG NextGen all at once. All right, so we have a special sneak peek demo for you of ESG NextGen.
We will step through registration before we can begin creating packages for our company. Searching for my company, it looks like we found a match. My company has already been registered. No additional input is needed from me. When an existing company is selected, the system will check for company-wide non-repudiation letters. And it looks like my company already has a letter on file. So I can skip past uploading a non-repudiation letter today. As you can see, the registration process changes to fit the user's needs. Past the initial company registration, this form can be simplified for many users. Now I just need to select a role, review my details, and submit. I'm registering as a submitter today. Reviewing my entry details, everything looks as expected, and I'm ready to submit. We are brought to a confirmation message, just as the agent Aaliyah saw earlier. Again, I will await review to gain full access to the Unified Submission Portal. Let's actually log back in as our agent to see if her account has been reviewed yet. Upon logging in, I can see the full Unified Submission Portal in place of the message we saw previously. While we registered Sean, an ESG admin approved Aaliyah's account. And now that I am approved, I can create submission packages. Because I'm an agent, I will first select the company I will submit for. As you can see here, each company we uploaded an authorization letter for during Aaliyah's registration is displayed here. Non-agents will not see this step. Instead, they will be taken directly to file upload. And using the instructions here, I can ensure that I am attaching and uploading the relevant files correctly. Folder structure is maintained through upload, so I can easily select this pre-structured folder here. Because file upload occurs in parallel, I can upload my files and continue through the form without being delayed by lengthy upload times. Lastly, I will enter my package details. I will select a center and a type, as well as provide my name and additional notes. I'm utilizing our simple e-signature functionality to quickly provide my acknowledgement that this package is complete. After submitting, I am shown confirmation of my submission. And finally, acknowledgement emails complete our process. I can view the acknowledgements in my inbox, as seen here. All acknowledgements will be sent to the submitter via email. For AS2 submissions, acknowledgements will be sent back via AS2. For API submissions, submitters can utilize our API to electronically retrieve their acknowledgements. At this time, only the submitter will receive the email. However, ESG NG users will be able to view acknowledgements for submissions through the Unified Submission Portal on the submission history. Back on my dashboard, I can see a quick glimpse of all submissions created in the past 30 days through the status tracker. I can navigate through submission history to view and filter submission data. On this view, submitters can see all of their created submissions. Power users can see all submissions created for their company, and agents, like myself, can see all submissions created for each of the companies they represent. These filters will help me to refine this list of submissions as necessary. I can search on name or core ID. I can also filter by FDA center, submission type, submission status, and creation date. As an agent, I can filter on the company the submission was created for. This filter and the company column are hidden for non-agents. When I am ready to apply my filters, I'll click Search. And if I'd like to reset my filters to their default, I'll click Reset. The grid is filtered by creation date to show recent submissions higher in the list. But I can sort on any of these fields in ascending or descending order as I see fit. All submissions, including API and AS2 submissions, can be seen here. If I need to grab a snapshot of this grid, I will click Export to Excel. An Excel file will be generated for me, and upon clicking Download, the file will be saved to my computer. Any applied filters at the time of generation will be reflected in this file. To view additional details, I will click on the submission core ID. Name, file count, and creation details are highlighted here. On status history, I can see the acknowledgements sent for this submission. We took a glimpse at the emails received earlier. Now we can view that same acknowledgement information neatly organized in our Unified Submission Portal. A list of acknowledgements is displayed along with file status and receipt date. I can view and download acknowledgement attachments. You've probably also noticed this bar to the left. This is our navigational bar. This bar displays everywhere necessary in our system. Users can collapse and expand this bar as needed. I can utilize this feature to jump around the Unified Submission Portal with ease. I can also take actions from this bar, such as creating a new submission or managing my API credentials. Invisibility applies here just as it does on the dashboard. For instance, only power users, like myself, can see the API management action here.
Great. So that was our sneak peek of the ESG NextGen Unified Submission Portal. So I hope you all think it's a big improvement from WebTrader. As you can see, it's very user-friendly, easy to use. So I hope it kind of gets you excited of what's to come in the next couple months. So key takeaways. So ESG NextGen is the modernization of the current electronic submission gateway. It has been a collaborative effort with FGA Information Technology, our FDA centers, our international partner Health Canada, as well as industry. ESG NextGen will be a modern cloud-based solution that will improve user experience. It will increase usability and scalability, and it will implement an identity and access management solution, which will improve cybersecurity. The plan go live for ESG NextGen is between Q4 of FY24 and Q1 of FY25. And release 1 and 2 will fulfill our industry commitments, align with the FDA strategic direction by creating enterprise services, and will further the FDA's vision of one FDA. If you have any questions, this is my FDA email. jessica.bernhardt@fda.hhs.gov. You can also reach out to the ESG NextGen team at ESGNG helpdesk@fda.gov. I'm sorry, support@fda.gov. And then we also have the website that's available with some useful information. So this brings us to the end of our presentation. I hope you all enjoyed learning about ESG NextGen and you're excited for what's to come. So thank you.